Welcome to the Week 4 lecture on Health Information Exchange. In this lecture, we'll discuss the HIE topology, HIE and health outcomes, and HIE architecture models. Now, first, the HIE topology, as you will see in the readings, discuss the coordination of information versus the actual action of sharing information. The verb definition involves with the actual action of sharing information, whether it is between physicians in one hospital, more than one hospital network, etc. That is the actual verb definition. The noun definition is the coordination, the particular office in a given hospital, which is typically the headquarters of a hospital network, which coordinates and keeps track of information being shared. This is mainly for privacy and security issues and making sure that all the systems function as they're supposed to be functioning. It is also about keeping track about morbidity and mortality. That includes the incidence and prevalence rates from week 3. Now, finally, there could be typically the headquarters of a given hospital network may also serve as the health information organization because they provide the information of the hospital network to a government agency at the local level or the state level. In turn, the state level population health or public health organization may serve as the noun and verb version as the health information organization between the different hospital networks in a given region and the local population health region to report the information to the national level. Now, how do HIEs deal with health outcomes? As we covered in previous weeks, we discussed the incidence, prevalence, false positive, false negative diagnosis of diseases in week 2. We also learned about the importance of early detection of diseases. This is where the issue of morbidity rate comes in. Morbidity rate is the incidence and prevalence of disease. But it's important to remember that certain diseases may have more than one aspect to it. And of course, an individual could have more than one disease. Therefore, you have to consider the comorbidities. Now, in terms of mortality rate, we have to keep in mind that typically states only report one main cause of death. So even though there could be multiple aspects that contribute to a person's cause of death, there's only one specific cause of death that's typically reported as part of the health statistics and health outcomes. This is where understanding the prevalence and incidence and specificity and sensitivity come important. It is important for those rates to be accurately reported as much as possible based on the information collected in the EHRs. Now, everything could be reported based on disease, geographic area, or both. Therefore, it's important to understand the different ways that health outcomes could be potentially reported. Now, in previous weeks, we discussed the I2B2 database. Now you will compare those I2B2 results to what we will work on in terms of the Illinois Department of Public Health outcomes. You will be conducting a data query, and you will have to take a look at what the results and counts mean. If it's a high or low count, what do the low counts show? Low counts may show good interoperability and good coordinated care, whereas high counts may show poor interoperability and poor value-based care, or it could just show one of each to be bad. It is going to be up to you to determine what aspects of that are to be considered. Now, in terms of HIE architectures, in our readings, you will have multiple types. On the left, you see the more standard general terms, and on the right are more direct terms, which basically mean the same thing. Therefore, the centralized or direct exchange are ideal situations which we want healthcare to work at so that individual hospitals could potentially eventually share information at the national level without any delays. However, for privacy and security concerns, most hospitals deal with the hybrid, which means that they have a certain amount of available real time, but certain data will have to be requested. Now, decentralized is the the architecture that has the least amount of interoperability. There could be particular reasons, say if they are aware of a data breach somewhere in a given area, they may choose to be a decentralized until the issue is resolved. Therefore, you may want to consider that. However, decentralized and or federated is one of the oldest models because it was basically when health information exchanges first came out. Now, the terms on the right, as I stated, these are more, you will notice these in the readings. If you choose to use the more general terms or the more specific terms, that will be up to you, but I am presenting to you the equivalence of the terminology. Now, in terms of understanding additional terminologies, it's the enterprise exchanges, which is between hospital networks. Regional exchanges are at the local level. Then you have the state level exchanges, which is what we will be covering in terms of this assignment. And as we end the course, we will be taking a look at the national exchanges. This is just for your background information, but you will focus on the regional and the state exchanges and compare it to the hospital network needs. Now, in week one, we discussed UI Health System and we compared it with the other partner networks. So this would be the enterprise network. But these enterprise networks also have to share it with the state. So therefore, as you conduct your data queries, you have to keep in mind the differences of hospital networks. Not everyone is necessarily on the same page. The Illinois Department of Public Health also has local offices as well. So it's not necessarily, even though typically the headquarters is where the capital of the state is, but they also may have local regional offices as well, and they could be requesting information for a specific reason. Therefore, it's important to keep in mind how these different partnerships of healthcare organizations work. Thank you. If you have any questions about this assignment or this lecture, you could feel free to send me an email or come to my office hours. I've also made this presentation handout available to you so you could download it and review it at your own pace. Thank you.